Today you're going to learn how to make a rock that goes down and automatically rotates your barbecue skewer. If you're the kind of person who likes to invent stuff on the weekend to show off to your friends, stick around till the end. So, like in any big manual do mundo project, I'll start by building a model. Pay attention to this little project. It's easy to make and super cool for a science fair because everyone will be watching. I'm going to use pretty much only small sticks here, hot glue, a bit of thread, and super glue. I'm starting by building the structure where I'll hang the weight, so it needs to be taller. Whenever you do this, build everything based on triangles. The more triangles, the stronger it is. This will be our weight. The structure can handle half a kilogram, about 1.1 pounds here.
Wow, that's a lot of weight.
I think for the size of the model, about 7 ounces is more than enough. I don't want to make an X in front of the weight because I want it to be visible. I want it to look nice, so let's try making a reinforcement structure here without covering the weight. Now it's well structured. Now comes the part that will be the actual grill. I'm going to make 2 supports. They're kind of like triangles too. And on top, I'll place a stick that is my main skewer. It will run through 2 paper straws, which I'll cover well with hot glue to make it sturdy. It's important that this axle can rotate freely in the structure. But at the same time, it shouldn't be loose. The last structure, I think, is the trickiest of all. It's a bar, except it has to have a rotating axle in the middle. The tricky part is that this middle axle has to be like an upside-down L. That's where the thread will be attached at the tip. Everything has to rotate freely, and I can't add those triangles or the pendulum will get stuck. Let's make a deal, shall we? If this turns out cool in real life, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, okay? It takes a huge effort to make all of this. To understand how it works, pay attention to the crazy movement of this toy here. A lot of people write to us asking if this toy is perpetual motion. After all, you can watch it for several minutes, and it never seems to stop. But if you look closely, you'll see that it is using energy. Energy that was stored in this rubber band when I wound it up. So here we have elastic potential energy stored in the bottle, which is transformed into motion energy as it's transferred to this axle that it makes spin. But the trick is that the pendulum at the end really slows down the spinning of that axle. It makes things way more complicated because look, at first the rubber band spins the axle. So the elastic potential energy turns into kinetic energy. This nut builds momentum, gains inertia, and starts to rise. So we also get some gravitational potential energy because the nut has risen. 2 types of energy in the nut, huh? When it hits this little bamboo stick on the doll's neck, it starts winding up. So once again, the energy is being stored until it reaches a point where the nut stops and all the energy is stored again. When it starts unwinding because it's high up and wants to fall, it gains kinetic energy once again until it gets to this point. Now the nut has momentum and the rod is loose again. The motion starts over. So in the end, we have stored energy that turns into another, that stores again, that turns into another, being used up very slowly. Does this thing have any purpose besides hypnotizing us and making us look dumb staring at it for 5 minutes? Yes, this is great for making a gravity battery. And what's that? It's a way of storing energy using gravity. You lift a weight, and when you let it go, you can convert the drop of that weight into some other type of energy. It could be electrical energy, for example. One time we made a gravity battery and placed it on a rooftop. It didn't generate much energy, but it worked. But what I want to build today is a gravity battery that helps me turn a barbecue skewer. It's a very similar mechanism to this one, except instead of a rubber band, there's a weight that spins the axle. So let's get back to the model. At the tip of this inverted L goes that pendulum. Let's test it to see if it's good.
Oh, that looks cool.
I put 2 of them, 1 on each side, because it slows the motion even more. Let's see if it works. It's test time. That weight is going to rotate my barbecue skewer. And then that wire wrapped over there will be attached to the base of this delay structure. We need some reinforcement up top, right? This is kind of wobbly, so what's the logic now? As I rotate this piece, it starts lifting the weight on the other side. Of course, as you probably guessed, the opposite will also happen. As the weight goes down, it'll rotate that piece. And at the same time, the skewer is right in the middle. So when anything here moves, the skewer rotates. Let's put a little barbecue here, or it won't be fun, right? Let's grill a cow. 3, 2, 1. Look at the little cow spinning while the pendulum drops. This is crazy.
Our battery lasted 4 minutes.
There are two problems. First, 4 minutes is too short. At a barbecue, it'd be annoying to have to rewind this thing all the time. Second, with every turn, the skewer rotates nearly 180 degrees. I wanted it to rotate less. Ideally, it should rotate little by little. That's how you'd get a more even cook. I think we can solve both problems by adding one more part here, but let's test this in real life. It was tricky here. Imagine out in the yard. Let's build a primitive bamboo structure. It won't be that primitive, but it'll look primitive. We chose a spot right in the middle of the yard to be the grill area, which will be entirely built with A-frame triangles. There are 3 of them, fixed to the ground with these stakes. Danny is here helping me. He's the one who tested the machine. We're tying everything with wire, but later we'll add a bit of sisal on top to give it that rustic look. On top go 3 pieces of PVC pipe that will serve as bearings to support our central axle, which will also be the skewer and the pulley for the cords. This is one of the biggest secrets of our mechanism. I haven't seen anyone else doing it like this. The rope coming from the rock is wound up here, and the rope that slows the motion is wound around a larger cylinder. That's why we have these bamboos. That means that when the rock is going down, it drops just a little, but this rope unwinds a lot. This will really slow down the rock's movement. It will descend very slowly because of this. This is the rod that will rotate with the little weight at the end. So on top of it, I make a kind of upside down LA, but I have to attach 2 bamboo strips that will form 2 triangles. That's what will make the structure rigid. This is a plumb line, so I can install the rod perfectly vertical. Here we came up with a cool way to make the bearing. It's a metal rod into the ground through a hole in the bamboo.
There's another hole inside that I fit over the top and one more hole here that locks it all in place.
The little weight that winds up will be a nut of about 1.8 ounces. Since the force is upward, it's ideal to have the stake angled because to come out, it has to lift the soil. What I'm trying to do here is put several stakes to firmly anchor a pulley on the ground, since it'll bear the full weight of the rock. Man, this is a snake plant climbing on top of... I forgot the name of this other plant. But it's not a real tree. It's in these moments that we ask ourselves, what am I doing here? Why did I come up with this thing? Up here we have...
The hardest part is over.
The weight at the tip is a rectangular block of around 22. We managed to hang it from a tree about 13 to 16 feet. That's good because it gives it room to descend. The rope comes to a shaft here, which is our skewer. It's a big axle where it winds up in a small section while still wound around a big set of bamboo. This is really cool because it's a reduction. Here will be the barbecue grill and in the back is the delay mechanism. There's a big nut here. That's going to be the little weight. This is great because it made it easy to lift the rock. I don't need to lift the rock by hand way up front. What do? I hook the tip of the nut here, then it doesn't get in my way, and I start turning. On the other side, the granite block, the rectangular stone, is already going up and I don't have to apply much force here. If I want to speed this up, I can pull straight from here. Oops, it slipped from the reduction. The problem is that this is moving, see? We'll have to install some kind of stopper. Let's set up the grill. I didn't want to ruin the grass, so I'll lay down a brick layer first, then a zinc sheet and a little guard. I wanted to roast a chicken here, but the folks here at Manual wanted quail. They made me buy 6 quails. Fernando already seasoned them, let them marinate and all that, and I have to admit I've never eaten quail. So how do we secure them here now? The issue here is that we think quail has to be roasted at 360 degrees, 680 Fahrenheit. If we put a quail on top, for example, and another underneath, the bottom part that's facing the zinc won't cook, won't roast. So it's better to have the zinc go through the bird, like how a chicken is placed on the grill.
To light the charcoal, let's use that technique we've already shown, making a little cup out of toilet paper and putting cooking oil in the middle.
The problem is we did things out of order. We put the meat before lighting the fire. So now we'll have to protect it with aluminum foil because that smoke from the oil at the start isn't great. The flames are getting high and I don't want them to hit just one side. So let's release the mechanism here and I'll start the stopwatch. I mean, if it works, right? It worked. It's reaching the ground. I think we'll get one more full turn. Let's see. It touched the ground. Let's check the stopwatch. Exactly half an hour, 30 minutes and 28 seconds. It lasted much longer than we planned, probably because of the reduction. Let's recharge the battery now. What's cool is that while it's recharging, the quail keeps spinning. So it's not wasted time, you won't burn the meat. Actually, it spins even faster. I bet someone on the other side of the screen is thinking, come on, Ibra, you invent this crazy stuff. No one actually builds it at home. That's just for the videos. Nobody's really going to make something like that. Look, submarine, octobot, giant elephant slide. To this day, I haven't seen anyone make them from our channel. But the amount of wild stuff we were sure no one would make, like the stand-up paddleboard, cardboard boat, lots of people actually built those. So if you make this, take a photo, send it to us on Instagram so we can share it. Deal? It's starting to brown, but I think we'll have to recharge one more time. It's not done yet. Look, the bell rang. It's noon, lunchtime, and it's not ready. Let's speed things up. Actually, turning it faster doesn't help. It won't cook faster that way. The ones in the middle are golden brown already. Let's go. Think of some evenly roasted meat. It took an hour and a half in total. 3 descents of our battery. I found it very efficient. Check it out. If this doesn't deserve a like, I don't know what does. Whoever seasoned this, wow. Wow, this is delicious. It's really good. Damn, perfectly cooked. Done. Damn, perfectly cooked. It's great. It's like chicken. It's good. It's tasty. It's good. Come on. I know not everyone's going to build this amazing dog TV, but we once made a much simpler one using a little electric microwave motor. And that one's more gourmet, right? Fancier. For city folks and all. I think it's worth checking out.